inkproducts.com has now released its Executive Series 3 continuous ink system for all the new Canon printers. We've made a lot of changes. You're going to get all the parts and pieces needed to install it. One thing I'll point out, we no longer use backflow dampers. They're not required, and you really shouldn't use them because the print heads in the newer Canons are not strong enough to draw ink. So we had to come up with a completely new design. Now we use a double loop hose bracket. You can see it there on the side. We also change the type of hose used. This is what's used mostly. We have a new type of hose that we use now. It's a lot more flexible because there's very little room in the Canon printers to install this CIS. And we don't want to cut the printer. We don't want to void any warranties. So now we no longer use backflow dampers, a different style hose. We give you all the syringes. We give you purge tools. We also give you the safety catch. Now I'm going to install it today on the 6320. I'm going to show you how to install it. You're going to get all the parts and pieces. The newest system was the Executive 3 with the double loop hose bracket. Now I'm going to show you also, this is the 5420, MG5420. They're all going to install the same. Now the other one is a 6-color, this is a 5-color. So when we get done installing that one, it's basically the same printer over here, except it only has 5 colors. So we're only going to do one video. Okay, now I opened up the front lid and the top lid. I already brought the cartridge assembly over, took out the cartridges, and then unplugged the printer. That's where you want it to be to install the CIS. Now on the CIS, I marked the orange clips so I know where to put the clips back on if I ever need to do that. The other thing I'm going to do is pinch off the hose with the hose shut off. Then we're going to rock the ink bottles. And why I'm doing that is I'm taking all the ink that during shipping got into the isobaric chamber. Take your time a couple times. Now the plugs are in, so leave them in until after we do the install. Now this is the newest design we came up with called a double loop hose bracket. No need for a backflow dampers. We don't need to use backflow dampers, and you really don't want to use them because they'll slow down the flow of ink to the print head, because these new print heads don't draw ink like the older Canons did. So bear that in mind. That's why we don't use backflow dampers. We came up with a different design. Now we're going to be installing a hose bracket. This is the lid jumper. It's going to go in over here, so it thinks this lid is all the way down. Also with it, you're going to get standoffs. They're going to go right about here, and they're going to stop the lid from going all the way down. I'm not going to use them in this video because I find I don't have to, but if you find that the hose is making too much noise, then you should put those standoffs on. I'll show you where they go in the video. We've also added a small piece of soft felt tape here. It's very soft, so when the hose goes underneath, it's not going to rub against that hose. So you're going to be putting a piece of that on. You're going to get that with your kit also. Okay, the first thing, we have these little lid hinges right here. There's one on this side, and then there's one on this side. There's a little catch right behind it. I put my finger behind there. I can feel it. It moves up and down. And I put some light on it so maybe I can get a good shot here for you. But basically what I'm doing is pushing down and pushing back. Releases it, see? I did that one. Do the same thing with the other one. Push down, push back. Now I'll show you what you're doing. You're basically pushing down on this pin or this bracket. You're basically pushing right down here on this bracket when you put your finger behind this. There's one on that side, there's one on that side. And that releases these. Okay, this hinge came off the top. It's got a little, I call it like a little key there. It's got to go in up here. You can see where it's cut out there, so it goes right in there. You're going to put it right up in there, and then there it is, it's on. That's how simple it was if it comes off. That's how you remove those. This is so you can put the hose along here. Okay, now I'm going to be putting the hose bracket right here. That's the hose bracket. It's going to go in like that, peel and stick it. I'm going to just move this out of my way here because I want to use this as my lineup. That's my reference right there. So when I go to put this on, I'm going to line up this edge with this edge. Let's see if I can show you better like that. Then it'll be lined up. Then I'm going to bring this front piece all the way out. So it's going to go like that. I'm going to peel it and stick it right there, and I'm going to line it up like this. Okay, now I peeled it. I just make sure it's good and... Okay, I just peeled it. Let's just stick it up there. Now you see I pretty much lined it up. You know, you can get as close as you possibly can to lining it up. Now I can bring the printhead assembly back. Now the next step, we already put that little piece of felt tape on here. This protects the hose and doesn't cause the hose to be rubbed. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the cartridges in. Now I've already marked the orange clips. Got my ink shut off as part of my hose bracket clip. I'm going to lay some paper towels up here, and then we'll line up the cartridges before we put them in. Okay, now I got to lay them on some paper towels. Now you want to have another piece of towel handy because sometimes some ink will be around that exit port. You're going to blot it off. And you notice I'm not using gloves. If you want, get yourself a pair of rubber gloves if you don't want to get ink on your hands. Now you can peel the rubber band off, but I like just cutting it off so I don't have to deal with it. And it doesn't now. Now this is kind of important. When you go to take the clip off, you're going to unlock it from the front. But don't pull it up. Slide it back. That unlocks the back. See, and then it comes right off. That's what you want to do there. Now if there's a little ink up there, you can blot it off like that. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to take all the orange clips off. Lift it up, slide it back, take it off. Okay, now you want to save those orange clips because you might have to put it back on. Sometimes you have to prime them back up. We'll give you a priming tool for that. Paper towel, just blot it. Now, this is the tricky part because we're going to flip them over and put them in. So I'm going to pick them up, one hand, and a little bit of that rubber band there, so you might want to get that off first. But for now, I'm just going to lay them up in there like that. And then I can go in and take that rubber band out of my way. Now, if you want to peel it off, I always cut them off. Okay, now here is where we got to put the hose to the side, and we got to start putting the cartridges in. This is where it comes a little tricky, because the cartridges have to go in on an angle in the front. If the front pops up and you lock the back in, it's just a nightmare to get it to unlock again. So you want to make sure you get them all in. Just take your time. Put them all in first. And then use a flashlight to shine into the back so you make sure it's clicked in. Now, I've had this system in before. So if I were to take a flashlight and I slide it in there, you can see that one yellow, it's popped up a little bit. So if I were to click that down, I would have a nightmare to get it back up again. So just take your time. There, click down, there. You'll know when you get it right, because if you do it wrong, like I said, you'll... Now, there's sometimes a hose bracket, if you're doing that, pops out, it just goes right back in the little hole there, like that. There, push it down. That. Now I'm going to flip the hose around. So it goes like that. Now, once I know they're all locked in, that's locked down in, I'm going to hold the hose and slide it all the way over to the right, as far as I can go. Usually you can see the little cartridge right in there. That's it. I'm going to stretch it across here. I want it as straight as you can make it, like that. Then I'll take the rest of the clip, slide the clip in, and then lock it back down. Now I slide the clip, and then I lock it in. And I put the hose behind the hinge, come right on out, and I can put a hose bracket right here to hold it. Okay, now I put that hose bracket down. I moved it slightly back. Okay, now I'm going to close the lid, slide it forward, and it goes right down. Closes the lid. Now the lid is closed. It's just a little bit out the side here. Now, if I want to open the lid up, that bracket's going to be in my way. So I put my finger up in there like this. I just bring the bracket down a little bit. Now I can watch it. Now we're going to add the lid jumper. This little green jumper slides right down in the slot right there. And the reason is the lid may not go all the way down and trigger it. So that's why I use this. That's it. We already set it up. Now, remember, MG5420, 5422, 5520, all of them that have this type of lid design can be set up exactly the same way. Now I'm going to release my shut-off, open up, take the plugs out of the ink tank, and I'm almost done. Then I can turn it on and do hose travel. Okay, now I have a paper towel handy, because you're always going to get ink on you, but you want to take out these little air plugs. They're put in there for shipping or for when refilling. When you refill, those have to be in, then you open up the big one. If you open up both at the same time, the isobaric chamber will be flooded with ink. And you got to put them both in and rock it. I don't want to get ink on my fingers. Use a paper towel. Now this protects it. This ink tank protects it from dust and light. Close it up. Next thing I'm going to put on right here would be the safety catch if you want to. Okay, now I've got the safety catch. Should have a letter A and a letter B. A goes on the ink tank and B will go on the printer. The reason is up in the top of the A, it's closed off there. So when you slide the tank down, it locks it down. So I'll put it together first. Then I'll find out where I want to position it. I'll probably put it about here and push it against the printer. So I'll peel and stick it, put it right about in the center. And I peeled all the tape, stuck it to the ink tank. I'm going to find out where I want to put it, and then I'm going to press it against the printer. I'm going to leave it like that. Now you can lift it off, fill it, or fill it the way it is, and then it'll just slide back onto that clip that's on the printer. That's how you put the safety catch on. Okay, now I'm going to plug it in, and we'll run some... Oh, by the way, make sure you close this up, otherwise you get an error code. Now we do give you a lid standoff, so it won't go all the way down. You can peel and stick it right here, one on this side, and then you'll have one on the other side. Now I'm not going to use them because, you know, it doesn't seem to make that much noise with the hose going back and forth. So all I'm going to do is just close it, just like that. This way you can still use your scanner. So now we can turn it on. It's going to come up. Might get an error code that we didn't shut down properly. And then we're going to do a nozzle check, or a printhead cleaning, then a nozzle check. Now I went and I did a deep cleaning, or cleaning, and then I'm going to do a nozzle check. Sometimes you got to do 1 or 2 deep cleanings or cleanings to prime up the cartridges, because during shipping they can lose some of their prime. Now we also make a refill kit if you don't want to install a continuous ink system. And our new COC Smart chips have the chip resetter built right into it. It completed its deep cleaning or cleaning, whichever one you choose. I'm going to say yes. And now it's going to print out the nozzle check. Now I just want you to watch. Now there's the lids closed down. I'm not using lid brackets. Seems to be functioning really nice without them. But we'll include them, so you might want to use them. There's a nozzle. Pattern looks very good. That's it. That's how easy it was to set up. You didn't have to cut nothing. You didn't have to do anything. Just remove some parts and put them back on. Doesn't void any warranty. Now that was the 6320. And it's anyone that has this design. The model number, like here's a MG5420. This is a Walmart model. 5420 is like a Staples or Office Depot model, or the Canon model. So you see that they operate exactly the same as far as the install goes. That has 6 colors. This has 5 colors. It's the only difference. Now when you're using a continuous ink system, you always want to set your print quality on best or high, no matter what you print. It's going to clean less, you're going to use less ink, and it's going to keep that print head a lot cooler. So that's the way I always set it, no matter what I'm printing. And you can save that setting, and it'll do it automatically every time. Okay, now it's showing that the cyan is out of ink. Now we're going to show you how to reset it. You'll also get that code, which is code 1600. Shows you the level, shows you that cyan is out. Now on an MX printer that has an LED, some of them have LEDs, they'll also report this. So now let's go over and reset the ink color. Now if you get the warning message or the letter X says the cartridge is out of ink, all you have to do is lift the lid, get it up. Sometimes it hangs up on the little bracket there, so you want to lift it up. Remove the jumper. Cartridges will come over. And soon it comes over, and you can put the jumper back in. That's how you reset the ink level. The jumper back in. Push it down, because otherwise you'll have the cover, it'll show the cover's open. There you go. Now when you put it back down, you want to pull forward just a little bit. But when you're opening up, I want to point this out. Sometimes you put your finger behind there just to take a little pressure off that bracket. That's how you reset the ink level. Should you get the letter X or the code 1600. That reset the cyan right back up again. That's how you do it. That's how simple it was to reset the ink color.